Alright, following in my kind of tradition of picking up unusual machines, I picked up this Dyson DC 11. It has a rather unique look to it that makes me think of something like a scuba tank. And I know I had a fellow collector ask me about this, so I'm just going to show you guys the cyclone assembly here. Oh, I don't have the pre-motor sponge, just the filter grate and this filter down here. The other one was like disintegrating, and I'm not paying for a piece of sponge that I have to like import, although I did put a new HEPA filter in there. Had to get that from the UK because I could not find one here in the US. But anyways, cyclone system, it just divides off here and then it goes into either tank. Someone I knew thought it might go from like one canister into the next one, but no, it's just like one tank divided, essentially. So, nothing really too different. And like a lot of the older Dysons, this one is a turbine head. So, got the turbine head and found tools that fit even. So let's first measure all the electrical measurements, and then we'll move on to the usual airflow suction stuff. So, I'll turn the light on my camera, and hopefully this grants some additional visibility. Yes. So our voltage is back up a little bit. Let's turn this on. Well, I can't guarantee that I'm completely sealed onto the inlet down here. I just didn't have a lot of room to get kind of underneath this pipe. So, well, yeah, I still don't know that we're completely sealed, but I think this is about the best I can do. It's safe to say I'm not going to be able to take a suction test down here between those two cutouts there and trying to get under this kind of lip. It's probably not going to work out well. So we'll try taking the airflow, but we'll have to measure suction starting at the hose, unfortunately. So, talking for too long. I'm gonna have to hold the hose down here because it kind of takes a shape from being stuck around the machine like that. Yep, safe to say we weren't completely sealed at the machine body. Oops. Seem to be holding steady, so let's take the suction. And we can hear the relief valve open. But, like most Dysons, strong suction. And something weird about this wand is, unless it's extended out, it's not sealed. So like when it's in its compact position, you'll lose a lot of well, both airflow and suction, because none of the segments will be sealed. So we have to have it extended out in order to do this, which is kind of the norm for extension wands anyways. I usually extend them out to where they would be used, but let's get on with the measurements. And I did tape this one because there's ridges inside of here that aren't really quite as prominent on the end of the hose, so I wanted to make sure they didn't cause any leakage. Although we do appear to have lost some power. But we appear to be holding it at this, so why don't we just move along? Now hopefully we get a good seal on. Nope. So we'll try this the other way. Better. But yes, we've definitely gone down in terms of suction. Just because I know we're going to experience some leakage right around here. Ooh! It retracted itself. You know, just so you guys can see what I'm talking about with the leakage, why don't we connect this? And you can see we've gone down even more. Huh. But we can feel a lot of leakage right around here, and I guess right around here too. Huh. Yeah. You know, for some reason I thought installing a floor tool on this would actually cover up this little hole here, but I guess not. So I did it's like once I discovered that hole, I did a second testing of the end of the wand with it with that little hole taped up. But since it's always open, unlike a SIBO wand where you would have the square cutout covered by whatever tool you put it into, I think it would be a little more accurate for us just to leave this alone. I mean, I don't really like the thought of an open hole, but I don't think it leaks too much, but it definitely does leak some. But you know, it's there. It's not covered like ever, so I'm just gonna leave it be. Still a little leakage through there, but this would be like its hard floor mode. So now we'll test that. Huh. I would have expected it to be quite a bit higher. I'll have to show you guys the mechanism used in the head. The brush roll is still spinning, a lot slower, just because we're not we're not feeding that turbine nearly as much. But yeah, it looks like we're not going to get much more out of this. And then we'll hear the turbine rev back up. Well, that's new. Yep, really wants to nosedive. So it's safe to say we probably have a little bit more suction than even this, but even that near 40 we were seeing, well, I guess there's kind of a happy medium. You push on it too much, it'll, yep. Kind of funny, but alright, so on the bottom of this turbine, obviously base plate removed, we have this little rubber piece here, and I'm guessing it would act as kind of a limiter for the air to go through this channel, so it would force it through the turbine assembly instead. But it's pretty stiff, so I'm guessing that's why we didn't really see much of an increase, because the force of the air coming through here probably wasn't enough to really bend this thing back too much, so it's trying to force as much air as it can through this little channel. So I would guess that's why we're seeing what we're seeing with the hard floor mode. Because I mean, you can hear the canister itself kind of ramp up a little bit, so that's signifying that it's struggling to get any more air through it. Their turbines are so strange. You block off the airflow to the surface, and it's like then you have more brush torque. But you know, it comes at a cost, because you're sacrificing your airflow to the surface. Anyways, you're sacrificing your airflow to the surface to drive the brush, which I mean is pretty standard for just about any turbine tool, but these do it in a different way since they have two different air paths, you know, one through the turbine and then into the machine, or through the nozzle itself into the machine. Alright, let's do some cleanup. Well, you know, it's not going to be much of a deep cleaner. It's a turbine machine. And a Dyson, you know. But, you know, it's definitely got an interesting design to it that I think makes it worth having around. Because, I mean, it catches the eye a little bit.